Thank you, Spider. And let me also extend a good morning to visitors, viewers, both at home and abroad. Over the past days, we have again been confronted by the dishonesty and the ineptitude of the current SLP administration. The latest saga is their attempt through a backdoor deal to sell off the CDC land in Clery to an unknown foreign investor. There is no getting away from it. Stephenson King has again betrayed the people of Castries North. He has again betrayed the people of Clery. During an appearance on a daytime talk show on Rev Up FM on the Friday, the 3rd of October, King confirmed that he is at an advanced stage in disposing of the lands on which the Clery CDC's estate stood to a foreign investor. The Clery CDC estate, which sat north of the football field, was for many years an important focal point in Castries North. Of course, in the mid-2018, the estate was demolished and residents were displaced with the expectation of returning to new homes after the area would have been redeveloped. Many of the residents of Clery CDC were the descendants or originally displaced after the Castries fire of 1948. Many of whom still in search of permanent accommodation. To this day, some of those families have been left without permanent housing. In his 2009 budget address, Prime Minister Stephenson King promised that the area would be redeveloped to accommodate medium-density housing with commercial space, sporting and recreational facilities to the benefit of the residents of Clery. During the United Workers' Party administration of 2016-2021, the government, led by Alan Chasney, devised a new development plan for the area, which put the interests of the people of Clery at the center as its first priority. So permit me to give some further background on the plans that the United Workers' Party government had for the estate. It will be recalled that the CDC estate fell under the responsibility of the Urban Development Corporation and its successor, the National Housing Corporation. This continued until the estate was vested in Invest in Lucia circa 2018 for a mixed-use community development to have been jointly undertaken by the NIC, Invest in Lucia, and importantly, local investors. These development plans would have been spearheaded by Invest in Lucia and were based on a novel approach to urban development which prioritized the community. The key objective of our approach was to allow the community to develop without permanently dispossessing or dislocating its residents. To ensure that all stakeholders attached to the CDC estate were given an equal opportunity to benefit from the redevelopment, the UWP administration, through Invest in Lucia, engaged Mr. Egbert Perry, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Integral Group, a real estate development firm focused on building communities. The intent of our administration was to guarantee that the redevelopment of the CDC estate would result in holistic and inclusive development for the area. In other words, the redevelopment was meant to enhance Clery for the best use and enjoyment of the residents of Clery. Based on the approach proposed by the UWP, the redevelopment of the CDC lands would feature a mixed-use design, including residential and commercial spaces, as well as amenities such as daycare and healthcare services. Critically, and this is very important for the residents of Clery, 40% of the residential accommodation would have been designated for affordable housing, specifically targeting the people of Clery. Under our plan, persons who had left the CDCs and had been resettled to make way for the demolition in 2018 and who had been continuing to reserve an interest in returning to the area would have been given the first right of refusal. Invest St. Lucia engaged in extensive consultations with the community aimed at ensuring that the community and businesses benefited, including through the Boost program, which would have been a business incubator and accelerator program designed specifically to enable and empower local small businesses to benefit from the development proposal. The development would have served as a platform for positive social integration, for uplifting people from all social economic backgrounds. At some point during the current Labour Party administration, these plans were scrapped and the lands were again returned to the NHC. Since then, nothing has been entered on the public record regarding the SLP government's plans for this area until King's now famous Rev-Up interview last week. It was during this interview that, for the first time, King publicly declared his intention to develop the area into a town center with condominiums and hotels. King stated, and I quote, "We have been successful in meeting an African investor. He was so excited by the proposal. The investor visited St. Lucia, visited the site, saw what we have here, and has agreed to proceed with the investment." End quote. What is noteworthy here is that no mention was made by King of the previous promises to secure affordable housing for the residents who had been uprooted. And no information has been disclosed at any point about the terms of this new agreement or the impact that it will certainly have on the community. According to King, the deal was initially proposed when he and the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philip J. Pierre, met with the investor in Grenada during the African Caribbean Development Forum. But yesterday, 13th October, during a press conference, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre denied his minister's claim and stated that there is no such investment deal. Why are the Prime Minister and Minister of Infrastructure, Stephenson King, providing conflicting and incomplete information to the people of St. Lucia? What are they hiding? Why would King confirm that a deal had been entered into and secured to dispose of the lands to that foreign investor, and for the Prime Minister to publicly contradict him? And what is even more concerning is that throughout the process of negotiations with the foreign investor by Stephenson King and the Prime Minister, there has been no record of the residents of Clery ever being consulted or provided the opportunity to dialogue and share their concerns or interests with the Prime Minister or Stephenson King on this important development. The vendors who operate small food businesses in the area, the displaced families, the church, sporting clubs, and the surrounding residents who will be directly affected by this plan, none of them consulted. There has been no dialogue, there has been no consultation. Let me be clear. Stephenson King and the SLP government, this is unacceptable. It is not the first time that Minister King has reached agreement with a foreign investor without properly involving the people of St. Lucia. It was also under King's ministerial mandate for SLASPA that he caused and allowed for the disposal of key port facilities in Port Castries and in Soufrière to GPH, another foreign investor. The same is likewise true for the Banans Lands fiasco. This is disrespectful, and again, this is unacceptable. Now, to add insult to injury, King further disclosed in this now famous Rev-Up interview of the 3rd of October his plans to declare Clery a special development zone. This is a policy decision that would have severe consequences for the residents of Clery. It would make housing even more expensive in Castries North. It would displace small businesses, vendors, grassroots entrepreneurs from the economic activity that they currently engage in the area. It would deal a devastating blow to the informal sector. This is yet another betrayal of the people of Castries North. It is yet another betrayal of the people of Clery by Stephenson King. Any redevelopment plan for Clery, a community that boasts a deep history, a deep heritage, must be undertaken in consultation with its residents, community groups, the church, and all stakeholders, which all play a very important role in the life of this community. This is not an option. This is a foundational tenet of good governance, something that the UWP administration, incoming administration, firmly believes in and is committed to. We therefore call on and demand that the Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre, and his Minister, King, come clean with the people of Clery, come clean with the people of St. Lucia. And on behalf of the people, the residents of Clery and Castries North, I demand answers to the following. What provisions, if any, have been made for the displaced residents of the CDCs who will now be permanently displaced from the land? Why have the discussions with the foreign investor been shrouded in secrecy? And what are the details of the agreement? Why has the community been excluded from the process? Has an economic and environmental impact assessment been commissioned before the agreement was entered into? And why were local investors not given an opportunity to participate in this very important engagement? Was there a request for proposals issued and made public? And what were the terms? St. Lucia, our people deserve to be consulted on development plans, particularly when these will affect their way of life and the nature and tone of our community. This SLP administration should be reminded that development must be for the people of our country, and it should not be pursued solely in the interest of investors. It should not be pursued for the profit of investors hiding in the shadows. I stand with the people of Clery, the displaced families, the vendors, the sports clubs, and every resident of Castries North who feels disrespected, betrayed, and left behind. With the incoming United Workers' Party administration, I stand ready to work shoulder to shoulder with the residents of Clery to deliver on a development plan for the area which fully and truly reflects your needs and your desires. We demand from this SLP administration full transparency on this matter. We will not sit idly by and allow the heart of Clery to be ripped out and disposed of through a backroom deal. The people of St. Lucia, the people of Castries North, the people of Clery deserve better. I thank you.